Okay, so former NFL kicker Jay Feely and obviously former Michigan roommate of one Tom Brady was on the herd explaining he believes that the NFL has made a mess of Deflategate and how he will defend his friend Tom Brady.
The reality is the NFL for 15 years has told quarterbacks you can do anything you want to the ball, and all of a sudden one day decided to make a big deal out of it. And they're the ones who created this fiasco. You know, the NFL kind of called the Patriots after the Colts called and made an accusation and said, hey, this was what was alleged. Make sure that those balls are according to the PSI specifics for this game. And it would have ended. It would have never been a story. But that's what the NFL has done repeatedly. Instead of dealing with something in the appropriate way and letting people know, they try to lay in the weeds and catch people. I think he's going to fight it a long time. I have no idea what the end result will be. But I know that he believes he's innocent. I know that he believes that he didn't do anything wrong.
All right, so Stephen, the NFL, according to Jay Feely, was playing gotcha, and he knows that Tom Brady will defend himself to the very end. Your reaction to what Jay Feely had to say?
Well, I understand where he's coming from, and I appreciate Jay Feely's candor. He's honest about the fact that he's very, very close with Tom Brady, that they're personal friends, that he's got a lot of love for the brother. And I respect Jay Feely coming to his defense. I have no problem with it. My issue is with Tom Brady and his unwillingness to come forward while allowing so many others to speak on his behalf. If Tom Brady wants to be quiet, why doesn't he take the liberty to tell everybody else to be quiet, since he's so hell-bent on defending his innocence? I don't get that. The other part with Jay Feely that I don't get is his problem with the NFL, to quote him, laying in the weeds, you know, trying to catch somebody. Well, what are you supposed to do when you're conducting an investigation? Be so transparent to the point where you can't catch folks if indeed they do elect to lie to you, to make it easier for them to lie to you? If you suspect foul play has taken place, then sometimes you are going to lay in the weeds in order to catch somebody. That's the way an investigation usually works. And I know that Jay Feely has a connection. Obviously, he's an official with the NFL Players Association. I know that he has history there. I know how they think about the NFL, but it just drives me crazy when they walk around acting so surprised at stuff like that. It's par for the course. If somebody believes that you've cheated, if somebody believes that you have engaged in unethical behavior, then in trying to catch you, they're not going to always be straight up in their methods, in the methodology that they exercise in order to catch you. That's just common sense. And I just think that that's something that Jay Feely and others should understand. I respect the heck out of Jay Feely and what he has to say in defense of Tom Brady. I hope I have, and I believe I have friends like Jay Feely who would come to my defense. I've got friends that are similar to Jay Feely, I mean, in terms of their thinking when it comes to coming to the defense of a friend, somebody that he obviously believes in. And if Tom Brady says he's innocent, Jay Feely has no reason to believe otherwise. I get all of that. But everybody ain't Tom Brady's friend. Everybody wasn't at Tom Brady's wedding, and vice versa. Everybody doesn't, you know, play golf with him and hang out with them and exchange text messages and emails and personal phone calls with them. Most people don't have that relationship with Tom Brady. So as a result, they would be on the outside looking in, and this is the perception that would come along with it. And that's something that Jay Feely has to accept. And I say that respectfully because I do respect Jay Feely.
Okay, let me go a cut below the surface here and examine what's happening. Let's look at the friendship between Jay Feely and Tom Brady. Remember, they were friends before Tom Brady was Tom Brady. They were friends at the University of Michigan. Jay, obviously, on the football team as a kicker. Tom as a quarterback, just trying to make it, trying to win a starting job. Nobody really knew who this kid from San Mateo, California was in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And the first summer they knew each other, they worked together at a driving range, a golf driving range, just to earn a few extra bucks. So they got pretty close. And because I know Jay fairly well, I can tell you, Jay has seen Tom Brady go through it all sorts of different kinds of adversity, and he's watched Tom react to different kinds of adversity. So Jay, if anybody does outside, obviously, Giselle and parents, close family, Jay knows Tom Brady's heart and I guess you could say his heartbeat. He knows when Tom's telling him the truth or when he might be playing with it a little bit. His truth meter is strong and gives him an accurate reading when it comes to Tom Brady. So as I told you from the start, I've talked to several people who know Brady, and everybody expressed the same sentiment. It was always, trust me, when he told me he didn't do this, I believed he did not do this, that he's 100% innocent, is what was Jay's quote to Colin Cowherd. I didn't tell the guys to do anything illegal. That's been Tom Brady's stance from day one on this. So he feels like he was very unfairly and wrongly convicted of this quote-unquote NFL crime that we all think has permanently stained his legacy. So the reason Jay Feely is continuing to stand up for Tom is because there was no conversation of, hey, Jay, we did fudge it a little bit, and if you would, maybe you could defend me publicly on this, because I'm going to try to fight back as best I can because I want to get the games reduced from 4 to 2. Not happening here. Tom Brady doesn't care about the appeal unless Roger Goodell wants to reduce the games to 0. He would care about the appeal, but we all think that's not going to happen. So all he cares about is fighting, as Jay Feely indicates, to the end, to the bitter end. And if it requires a court battle, so be it, which is why he hired Jeffrey Kessler to represent him, longtime thorn in the NFL side. So the point is, Jay is completely believing that Tom Brady completely believes he is 100% innocent. So that's why Jay is standing up for him. And you know and I know, we all have friends where, you know them so well, and well, maybe they did do a little something here. That's not what's happening.
But here's where I jump off that wagon that you're on. And I'm going to be delicate with it because I don't mean it towards Jay Feely. I'm not questioning him, his integrity or anything. I think he's going to run for office someday. I think he'll win, for crying out loud. I know I'd vote for him, to be quite honest with you. But what I'm saying to you is this, Skip. Jay Feely is not a member of the media. We have an obligation, regardless of our feelings, for one person or another to be as objective as we possibly can be. Unless I'm talking about the Knicks in the draft lottery, of course, that's the exception. But outside of that, we have an obligation to be as objective and as fair-minded as we can possibly be, not just towards individuals, but towards the facts. Jay Feely does not have that obligation. So as a result, I'm forced and compelled to ask myself this question. If Tom Brady were to have a conversation with you and say, Jay Feely, I fudged the rules a little bit, I tried to do X, Y, and Z, would Jay Feely come on the air and tell us? I don't think he would. Nor do I think he should.
He might just lay low.
So what I'm saying...
He might not say anything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, I'm not. That's fair. That's fair. What I'm saying to you is I have no doubt that he believes him. I have no doubt that he's standing behind Tom Brady because Tom Brady has told him I'm innocent and Jay Feely is buying that hook, line, and sinker. I don't blame him for that one bit. Nor am I saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that I'm not going to attach the same level of validity to it as you because of their relationship. Because guess what? If you believed otherwise, would you tell us? See, if Damian Woody, who's a former teammate of Tom Brady, he comes on the air and he says, I think he cheated. Teddy Bruschi also played with Tom Brady, won Super Bowls with him, says, I absolutely don't believe that. When you are a member of the New England Patriots and you see the juxtapositions that exist with people who have played alongside Tom Brady, that's incredibly compelling. Yep. But to Jay Feely, there seems to, when it comes to Jay Feely, Skip, it seems to be something extra. And I'm not in any way saying that makes him wrong. I'm simply saying that I can't attach the level of veracity to his statements that you're inclined to, not taking into account his friendship. He loves this brother. He knew Tom Brady before he was Tom Brady. You know, he's invested in him in a very, I'm telling you right now, if Tom Brady came out and admitted that he was guilty, outside of Tom Brady, I don't know of anybody who would be more devastated than Jay Feely. I agree. Because of how he feels about it.
That is correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to, you know, pause for a second on the Jay Feely stuff because of that.
Fair enough. And I'm going to be completely fair here. Is it remotely possible that Tom Brady is so ashamed of what he has done that he's in scramble mode with his family and his close friends, trying to convince them, almost out of delusional, like self-protection, that he didn't do anything. That's possible, but I'm not buying that. Here's what I'm buying. I know Jay Feely fairly well, to the point that I can tell you he's a good man. I've seen him off the field. I do believe that. I've watched him operate. He's a good man. I do believe that. Jay Feely constantly tells me the finest man he's ever known in all of his years in football and sports is Tom Brady. So this is why to brand Tom Brady a cheater is incomprehensible to Jay Feely. Now, you can say he's not objective, that he's lost in his adoration, his respect for Tom Brady, but I don't think so, Stephen A. I think he just knows this man's heart, and he can't see him as this serial cheater that a lot of people have condemned him as being over the years.
That's fair. That's fair. But, Skip, you also have to listen to the words that Jay Feely used. He said, quote, "The NFL has been letting quarterbacks do whatever they want with the football for 15 years. And then all of a sudden, here they come making a big deal out of it. So it's entirely possible that Tom Brady could be guilty of it, but only because he didn't think it was a big deal, because, as Jay Feely said, the NFL never thought it was a big deal, and then all of a sudden it became a big deal." I'm not saying that's the case. I'm only going by Jay Feely's words, Skip, nothing more here. We introduced this topic by taking Jay Feely's words. Well, if Tom Brady and all the quarterbacks for the last 15 years thought this was much ado about nothing, then maybe that's what is at the heart of this, and Jay Feely might have revealed that without even knowing it. Tom Brady may feel he's completely innocent because there's much ado about nothing, because for the last 15 years, quarterbacks have been allowed to do whatever they wanted to with the football.
But remember, his point is, don't take it out of context, allowed to do it within the regulation range, because you get a range. There's a range on the football for the kickers and the quarterbacks. There's a range of what you can do. So I've told you repeatedly, from what I've been told, Tom Brady never said anything more than inflate my footballs to the lower end of regulation. And again, there's a range. So you could inflate to the lower end, or you could do the Aaron Rodgers inflate to the top end of regulation, right? It's still legal.
And without getting too technical, to buffer your point, Skip, if you talk to the New England Patriots, and I'm getting more and more information as the days go by, 8 of the 11 footballs that were in question for the New England Patriots were almost identical to what the Colts' 4 footballs were. And nobody's talking about the Indianapolis Colts. And so when we take it into consideration in terms of PSIs and the like, in the end, what it comes down to is that there are a whole bunch of holes, there are a whole bunch of questions, and it looks like Tom Brady can pick the actual report apart.
He can.
But in the end, when you have NFL players sitting there and saying that Tom Brady answered the question, you say, "Are you a cheater? Are you a liar?" In the press conference, he's like, "I don't think so." And then you're not fully cooperating in the eyes of the NFL. It's going to beg the question, why would you allow those questions to exist if you're 100% innocent?
Okay.
And that's where it's just what it is.
I agree with your premise. I've said it on this show many times. I wish Tom Brady would stand up on his soapbox and say, "I want everybody to know I'm 100% innocent." Not built that way. And now that it looks like it could go to court, can't be that way.
Right.
You don't want to say anything publicly because your lawyers are telling you, you keep it in-house until it's time to testify in court.
That's what Jonathan Vilma told him.
And yet, I'm with you, Stephen A. I wish he would have spoken out from the start. It would make my job a lot easier, I can tell you that. It would make your life a little easier. At least you'd have something to go on, and we don't have anything to go on.
All right,
from
so
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady appealed, obviously, the 4-game suspension on the 14th. The NFL has 10 days, 10 exact days to respond, so we should be hearing something next week at the earliest. Coming up next, some WNBA owners take issue with Isaiah Thomas becoming part owner of the Liberty. We discuss the latest on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.